Preparation for Shapiro, Greenwald, Jones.
Those guys were also in on it because they brought riot gear, but they put it in the car.
No, the implication is the official report that, one of the reasons we couldn't deploy the guard was they were only there for traffic. They weren't equipped to deal with this is bullshit because they actually did have riot gear there.
For all of them did?
Well, let me read what it says again. The Army report said that members of the DC Guard were only ready to provide backup. The Guard was prepared to only have limited support. In other words, Guard members weren't ready for what was about to happen. Yet those soldiers brought riot gear with them and stored it in their vehicles. According to multiple Guard officials, quote, the Guardsmen who were stationed at traffic control points that day had civil disturbance gear that included a shield, a vest, helmet, baton, and shin guards. Command Sergeant Major Michael Brooks told the DC told Politico, the leadership of the DC National Guard took it upon themselves to make sure equipment was readily available. Is these people in on, they're part of spreading bullshit conspiracies like Sund and me, correct?
No, it doesn't. None of that sounds like a bullshit conspiracy. All of that sounds like it reinforces my idea. There was a fuck ton of confusion, that there was a really bad communication everywhere. Hold on, what part of what you just read thinks reinforces any part of what you were claiming?
Super Redditor.
Traditions stay the same, guys. Average Georgian New Year. Yay, 385. What the?
Dude, I hate this guy.
That is crazy.
A few.
I love how as older people get, the more you can see their good choices and their bad choices add up.
Moments later.
What is up, guys? It is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and I'm stuck in a sort of a weird position where I wasn't even able to apply for European visas because I have no residency in any other country. And as a Russian citizen, if I wanted to do it, I would have to go back to Russia, which obviously, we know, with the kind of content that I make, is something that I would like to avoid. So essentially what happened is...
Yeah, I hate this retard. Ah, you get to go to the EU? Oh, wow, the big W. Big W for you, dude. You go from AIDS to AIDS.
Yeah, those soldiers brought riot.
Ending up leaving Russia, the only country that's actually like a country. That could be, it could be bad, it could be worse. Or it could be good, but it's actual country to like go to the retard land of the EU. Awesome, dude. Very cool.
Gear with them and stored them in their
Hold
officials.
on. My understanding is when they said they weren't ready
biggest faggot in Russia? No, now he's the biggest faggot in the EU. Probably not. Now he's like...
Dude. What was about to happen is that they didn't have the number of people there, and they didn't have the plans or procedures in place to do like a full-scale intervention at the Capitol. Not that they didn't happen to have riot gear in their car.
No, what it seems that the Army was trying to say is these people weren't equipped to deal with rioters because they were only there to deal with traffic. And the idea that they weren't mentally in the correct state or they didn't know the exact numbers of people is absurd. Again, what we're talking about in real time is a fear that violent people are about to overthrow the government. And to say there are military trained personnel that are standing there, but they're just not in the right headspace to intervene.
You understand? I'm sorry, it's not about, I don't know why you're taking the most ridiculously stupid faith interpretation of what I'm saying. I'm not saying they weren't in the right headspace or they didn't listen to fucking Meteora, the album, enough to get like hyped up to go. It was the fact that there were like a couple hundred of them, if that, deployed for traffic, and they didn't have like the deployment opportunities to like mobilize and control tens of thousands of people.
So this guy Matthews continues, quote, he said the guardsmen who were already on duty were trained in civil disturbance response, had already familiarization with Washington, D.C., were properly kitted and were delayed only because of inaction and inertia by the Pentagon. So that seems to, at least he's disputing your claim that's like, well, they didn't know exactly how many people there were. And
hold on, wait, no, that just supports exactly what I said. That the only thing they were waiting for was the DOD to make the order. Everybody was waiting for Miller.
Right, and the Army's official response was they were only there to deal with traffic stuff.
That's what they were there to deal with initially, yes.
Right.
Look away,
so they're using that as an excuse. There's a report that's given by the Army, like what was up with the inaction that day, and so they're giving excuses.
Okay, I'll explain. I'm sorry, you're not going to listen to anything that I'm saying, but that's fine. You're way off in Rob land. I'll explain to you like in very clear language what they're obviously saying. It's like very obvious. What they're saying is that we were not ready to deal with what happened on that day. What that means is that there was what?
That is not what they're saying. They're asking the testimony the report they wrote was asking the question, why was the National Guard delayed? And so they're giving reasons why the National Guard was delayed. And one they say is, well, we were concerned about optics.
Okay,
and
yes, hold on, stop. I'm sorry, I need to finish. You're not even like engaging. Yeah. Yes, you're just repeating what I'm saying. No, you're repeating what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the Army said initially, or whoever was communicating for the National Guard here says that on that day, we were not ready to deploy to defend the White House, to defend the Capitol building at that scale. What they had been deployed was with an incredibly narrow and specific mission to monitor traffic. That's it. And that if they needed to call the National Guard to the Capitol, they had put up way too many stupid checks and balances and bureaucratic red tape in order to deploy them effectively. That's what was obviously that was being said. That's what actually happened in real time. And I can show you document after document proving that. But your claim, you're trying to make the argument that they're saying that they just didn't bring their Nerf or nothing gear in their cars, but a few of the guys had hockey pads. So obviously the 300 people were ready to go. And this is Sparta, the entire fucking 100,000 strong crowd at the White House, at the Capitol building, Rob? What the fuck are you saying?
First, show me proof that there was only 300 National Guardsmen there.
I don't know how many. It was a small number, but I'll read this. Here was
your argument, right? Here was your argument. So what? Give me the idea. Okay, so you're being hyperbolic with
how many National Guard approved by Bowser for traffic control? Well, we can look at the exact numbers. Based on this request, officials called up 340. I'm sorry, I was off by 15%. 340 National Guardsmen to help. The Guardsmen were assigned mainly to traffic control, metro crowd control, some logistics support, and a 40-member quick reaction force to be based at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. I don't know if those 40 people were included in the 340, so maybe it was actually 380 people, okay? And here's the statement that the Army had made, or the Secretary of the Army had published the day before. Dear General Walker, this response to your letter dated January 1st, 2021, recommending approval of the request of Mr. Christopher Rodriguez, Director of District of Columbia, Homeland Security, and Emergency, blah, 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 on behalf of the District of Columbia and Fire Emergency, blah, 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 and DC Metropolitan Police, blah, 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 requesting the District of Columbia National Guard, 33rd Civil Support Team, and traffic management and crowd control for planned demonstrations at DC from the 5th through 7th of January 2021. Support the civil authorities of the District of Columbia. They requested that the DCNC CST conduct the following tasks upon request for each event. 1, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear monitoring hazardous material. On-site support. 2, liaisons at all required locations. 3, technical decontamination support on call. 4, analytical laboratory suite. ALS support on call. 5, CST operations and communications. Capability, blah, 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 blah. They requested 6 crowd management teams at specified metro stations and to prevent overcrowding on metro platforms, and teams to assist at 30 designated traffic posts. Your mission analysis determined that the DCNG could provide all the requested support. I approve the DCNG to support the MPD with 340 total personnel.
That's not retarded.
90 traffic control points, 24 metro station buses, 20 CST support, 40 quick
reaction doesn't have time
support,
to look at the evidence.
52 internal C2,
his wife's
command control and
bills.
support. DCNG are not authorized to perform any additional tasks or duties not authorized in this memorandum. In addition, without my personal authorization, the DCNG is not authorized the following: to be issued weapons, ammunitions, bayonets, and batons. B, to interact physically with protesters except when necessary in self-defense or defense of others consistent with the DCNG rules for the use of force other than those who pose an immediate threat of physical harm to federal personnel or destruction of federal facilities. C, to employ any riot control agents. D, to share equipment with law enforcement agencies. E, to use intelligence, surveillance, and recon assets or to conduct ISR incident. F, to employ helicopters, any other air assets. G, to conduct seizures, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, the, D, what?
Who wrote that?
This was the statement that went out the day prior.
Memetics is better.
It says they can't do this without my approval. Who is the mom?
Major General William J. Walker, Commanding General, District of Columbia National Guard. Wait. Dear General Walker. Wait, hold on. I wonder if this was the CF Office of Secretary of Defense. Chief Ryan. Is it Ryan?
The first Reddit song of the year, dude. Look at him.
Or is this just who's signing it at the bottom? Wait, is this... Who's the one? Okay, he was the, yes. So it was Ryan McCarthy, who was the Secretary of the Army, who was the guy right underneath Miller. Right? Correct?
Okay. So
he is hard. So true, dude.
Right underneath Walker. McCarthy's underneath Walker. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm an expert on this.
Okay. I think he's right. I think Secretary of the Army, I think is right beneath the DOD head, which was Miller. Okay. Yes. So this is the third to top dog of all the National Guard deployment things. It's Donald Trump is 1, Miller is 2, and then McCarthy would have been 3. right? That's how. Now, when you said all of this was unprecedented, I agree with you. All of this was unprecedented. This is part of that. Who's Walker? Major General William J. Walker, commanding general of the DC National Guard. Major General William Walker is a retired United States Army Major General and former Sergeant at Arms of the U.S. House of Representatives. So he was the Sergeant of Arms at the House of Representatives. This was the Sergeant of Arms guy.
Okay. Now, so there's disputes between what McCarthy and Walker are saying.
Dude, crypto's crashing.
What are they saying? Do you think it's disputed?
Well, like,
it's over.
So first off,
wait. Can you link me that article? Link me that article.
Yes. Yeah. So first off, what you just said there, like you said that without McCarthy's permission, none of them would have had riot. Correct? No. Isn't that what you read? Wasn't that they can't do this without my permission? I said,
dude.
Wasn't in that.
Nobody seems to notice. Does anyone else be like this?
You missed it. That's crazy.
We're
on the 1 minute time frame. Look at this.
Downvote.